Hello, welcome to the introductory episode of Temple Talk. My name is Camille, and I will be your Temple Talker. I'm so excited to have you here. This intro is meant to be brief and an outline of what you can expect from this podcast. In the April 2022 General Conference meeting of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the prophet President Russell M. Nelson announced plans to build and construct 17 temples around the world, bringing the total number of temples he has announced in his prophetic service to 100. A Deseret News article published soon after that April conference shared the following insight. The church had 182 temples in operation, under construction, or announced when President Nelson became the church president at the start of 2018. Now there are 282. So in 4 short years, President Nelson has increased the total number of the church's temples by 55%. He has now announced 35% of all temples. It is decidedly a new era for the church. The most recent General Conference in October 2022, President Nelson declared the following. We currently have 168 operating temples and 53 new temples under construction and another 54 in the pre-construction design phase. He then proceeded to announce 18 more temples, bringing the total number of temples either planned, in construction, or complete to about 300. Here's a quote from his conference address. It is significant that the Savior chose to appear to his people at his temple. It is his house. It is filled with his power. Let us never lose sight of what the Lord is doing for us now. He is making his temples more accessible. He's accelerating the pace at which we are building temples. He is increasing our ability to help gather Israel. He is also making it easier for each of us to become spiritually refined. I promise that increased time in the temple will bless your life in ways that nothing else can. As temples of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are flooding the earth, more communities around the world are being exposed to the church that may not have ever heard of it. With each new temple built comes a call for the members of the church to dedicate their time serving in the temple, which can lead to a lot of curiosity and questions. The church has released so many wonderful resources to help everyone learn about our temples, including why we have them and the ordinances that we perform inside. I am not an official representative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am not sponsored in any way. This is on my own dime and on my own time. I'm a lifelong member of the church, and I have a deep love for the temple. This podcast is for everyone. Members of the church, for anyone preparing to go to the temple, for friends of other faiths, to anyone who's just curious about these temples, this podcast is for you. My goal is to use the resources the church has already published and made publicly available to discuss all things temple. I will be covering everything from ordinance to covenants. I will be highlighting specific temples and exploring the story of how they came to be and some of the processes that went into it, and hopefully get to interview people who are involved in that. I hope to discover temples of other faiths and discuss the sacred nature of worship. No matter where you are in your life, I believe there is something for you in this podcast, and I pray the Spirit of the Lord can accompany each episode. My next 4 episodes will include an About Me, the story of my journey, an overview of the plan of salvation, an analysis of temple worship through the King James Bible, and finally, the story of the restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and how our current temple doctrine and practices came to be. Feel free to check them out just to give you a background of temples. I promise we'll have some fun along the way. I'm really nerdy and I usually like to make people laugh, so I promise we'll have some fun. Or feel free to listen to any specific episode you may have questions about or would like to learn more of that topic. At the end of each episode, I will include a list of all the references I've used so you can research more into certain topics, and as always, I will include a link to thechurchofjesuschrist.org for more information about the church, our beliefs, our temples, and places where you can learn even more from our missionaries. Thank you again for joining me. I'm trying to figure out some sort of tagline for my podcast that I can end on, and it's definitely not my best work, so I'm going to be throwing out some new things probably every few episodes and see what sticks. But for now, this has been Camille, and I would like to encourage you to keep calm and temple on.